Hi, everyone. I hope you're all having a great start to the week. I'm having a fabulous one, and I haven't checked in maybe a week or so because we've been posting some other content for you. So I have a little bit of a laundry list of things that I wanted to get off my chest because in all of the amazing progress that I get to see in my clients each week, I also talk to so many different people about really a lot of things that they've been through, and quite honestly, they've been through hell. And there's just some things that people say and do in my industry, and it just really, really pisses me off. And I wanted to share them with you so that when you think of these things or hear these things, you can literally run the other way. You can know that your sensibilities about this stuff is much more on point than anybody around you. So one of the first things that really pisses me off is like this whole concept that, I should know how to do this by myself. I should know how to be, fill in the blank. I should know how to be this way or that way. I should know how to be, a superstar in life. And that's one of those things that used to really get in my way too. And what that's really about, just so everybody knows, is that that's nothing more than a complete shame story that we've been conditioned with. Like that somehow, because we are a person, that we have somehow been given some sort of handbook, right? And we should know how to do everything. And the shame of feeling like we should know how to be everything that we want to be really keeps people stuck. And it used to keep me stuck too. It used to make me feel really bad about myself, especially because what happens for us is that, we do know a lot. We're in a world where we know a lot of information, and all these people around us are giving us information, and we grow up getting a lot of information, and we feel like we should know how to do whatever. We should know how to lose the weight, how to have the great date, how to help, your son's ADD or whatever it is. We somehow have been conditioned to believe that we should know how to do everything. And then when we think we know how to do it and we're still getting the results that we don't know how to do it, right? Because you may have information, but knowing how to do something and actually being able to do it is two different things. So if you know information and your results are still not getting you where you want to go, then if you just use common sense, you can think to yourself, well, I guess I don't know how to do it. That's what is actually happening. So when you hear yourself going, but I know how to do this, that's not true. You may have some information, you may have some sense of where you want to go, which is really important. But what you don't know is the emotional part of how to get yourself to do it. Because we know tons of shit. We know, do I eat the apple or do I eat the donut? We know that all freaking day long. We know it since the time we're little. That does not matter. What we don't know how to do is how to have the emotional ability to do everything we know how to do. So whatever this thing is about, again, I've been there, right? I know how to do this. I should be able to do this. This stuff is getting our way. We got to be smarter than that. We got to go, okay, do I really know? Because let me just see how it's going. And maybe I don't know how to do it. Maybe I think I know how to do it, but maybe there's pieces I'm missing. Maybe on an emotional level, I don't know how to do it emotionally. I might know how to do it tactically or behaviorally or strategically. I might have this laundry list of steps, but I don't know how to do it emotionally. And that's what we have to understand. And that's where we have to get rid of the shame that we should know how to do something emotionally, when who the hell ever grew up with anybody who was really powerful and strong emotionally, other than negatively emotionally? If any of you, may have been down that road like I have. So what this whole thing, I should know how to do something, is killing people. It's stealing their lives and stealing their potential. And it's a big shame spiral. It's a big shame barrier. The truth is, if you've been trying and trying and trying and trying, and like the other day I talked to somebody that had been trying to lose weight for 20 years. And she kept saying, I know how to do that. And I was saying, well, emotionally you don't. So that's the difference, right? And it's okay that you don't know how to do it. It's okay because we've also been conditioned in this world to believe that just because we were freaking born that we should know how to do everything. And just because we're getting these instructions from all over the place, like we should know how to do everything. But maybe those aren't the instructions for you. Maybe it doesn't work because they're not your instructions, and you need a process that can do that for you, that can teach you the emotional strength, and then figure out what are the right instructions for you. Because the instructions for someone else don't apply to you, but you keep thinking that they do. So this whole thing of I should know how to do it, it is like you just need to drop that situation. That is honestly, in some ways, it's kind of retarding people, not to be rude or offensive, but the truth is the fastest way to get where we want to go in life is to learn from somebody that does know how to do it, that knows how to do the things that we want to do or think we know how to do, but based on our results, we don't know how to do them. The fastest way to get there, this is why we actually go through school in life. We go to school to learn things, because you don't just become a person and go, I know how to do arithmetic. No, you have a teacher, a trainer, a guide, someone that says, nope, that's not it. Got to do a little bit more of this. You're missing this. This is how it works. And, even like people have tutors and guide them through the thinking process. Everything in life is training. It's learning. But when it comes to emotions, when it comes to being a person, which, by the way, is nothing more than an entire emotional experience, we have zero freaking training. And then we're trying to go through life, and then we still keep thinking we should know how to do stuff. And I just think to myself, why is it with this kind of thing, why does everybody think they should know how to do something that I know how to do? Right? Where I trained for years and years and years and years and years to know how to do what I do, and then how to do that for other people. I don't know what you know how to do. I'm not trained in your expertise. You have a bunch of expertise that no one else has. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like if you were wanting, if you were needing to get like surgery on yourself, you needed to get your colon taken, or your spleen taken out, or whatever they do. You would not say to yourself, I should know how to do this. Let me go research spleen surgery and brush up on that, and then try it for myself. Do a little DIYs. We don't do that. We try to find the best expert, the one that has all of the track record, the one that when we talk to them, we go, yeah, I'm going to put my life in that person's hands. They know what they're doing. I feel like they know what they're doing based on how they talk about everything. They know what they're doing. So, I don't try to go fix my transmission because I could learn how to do that to some degree. I could figure that out. I save myself a bunch of time, and I go to the person that studied how to change my transmission and who is a freaking world-class expert on that. That's what I do. So whatever it is about psychology and emotions and all of that, I know we're in a world right now of people that go, poof, I'm a coach. I know everything, right? I just broke up with someone. Now I'm the breakup coach. And I know that you're bombarded with all of this. But that's not the same as somebody who has trained for years and years and years to develop emotional strength in people and eliminate all of their suffering and make them to be able to be the best versions of themselves in weeks. That's what I know how to do. That's not what everybody else knows how to do. And this thing about I should know how to do this, not if you've never trained on it. Not unless you've ever gotten a master's degree or a PhD in it, will you be trained on how to know what to do. I did that And I learned that for you so I could give that to you. And you won't know it if you go to somebody for an hour a week for the rest of your life and spend 10 years on their therapy couch. It still won't add up to a master's degree in emotional strength and empowerment. It just doesn't. We don't go to college and go like, let me take a class an hour a week at a time and then just like go down this route. We don't do that. We dig in, we get trained, we develop, we transform, right? Through that whole educational experience. There's a reason we do it the way we do it, right? They don't send people to boot camp an hour a week and then send them to war. It's a training process to transform yourself into the person that you want to be. So let's get rid of this whole, I should know how to do this. And because that's an emotional strategy that's all about like shame and then protecting ourselves from shame as well. Like, I should know how to do this. And then that's like, you know, judgment. And right there, you just hurt yourself. And it's not true. And I just want to really encourage everybody to just examine things more for where they are completely and totally ludicrous. Because we're in this world, this is what one of the things our program teaches everybody. We're in this world where people are thinking and saying stuff that makes no sense. And we all grew up like going, does this even make any sense at all? But then we go along with it, right? Like, we have to be sad at funerals. Like, okay, that's the thing. We have to be sad at funerals. So we just go along with it, even though we're like, I'm not sure if that's true. So we have a whole bunch of stuff that's like that. A whole bunch of stuff. So I want to give you all of some little training today, which is to examine every friggin' thing that people say and that you say to see if it makes any friggin' sense whatsoever, because you're going to find that it doesn't. And you're going to find that it's one of the reasons that you're stuck, right? I should know how to do something. Just examine it. Why? Where did that come from? Who said? Why would that be? Did you spend 20 years in emotional training school? I'm not sure that you did, but you're probably an expert on something else. And just think about examining these things that are getting in your way. Because the world is full of also the opposite, which is the top people and the top successful people are full of amazing advisors who are experts on everything, right? The top most successful people bring in their advisors, say, teach me what you know so I don't have to go learn to be an expert in all of this. I'm going to use your expertise. This happens. This is why all the amazing things in the world that we have, they're happening because people who are really serious experts on things, they get together and they share that expertise. And that's how phenomenal success is created, right? Even Bill Gates didn't sit around going, let me figure every one of these things out on their own. No, it doesn't work like that. So drop that and recognize that if there's something you don't know how to do, meaning your results show you that you don't know how to do it, then, and you want to be able to do it, then focus on how you're going to be able to do it and who's going to get you there. Don't be thinking you should know how to do it and spontaneously you're just going to figure it out, because you're going to blink and 30 years will have gone by and you're still going to be going, I should know how to do that. I should know how to do that. I mean, it's, oh my God. I mean, just check into that one. Another thing that pisses me off is this whole theory that everything should take a long time, right? Because you're such a complete and total disaster of a person that it's just going to take forever for you to ever be the person you need to be, you want to be. And I'm telling you, if you talk to anyone, any therapist, coaches, anybody in your life, in your family at all, and somebody says to you, it's going to take a long time. It's just going to take time. It's going to take time. It's just going to take time. Or you say that shit to yourself, slap yourself and ignore what people are saying, because that belief is the only thing that makes it take time. It does not take time. It takes training. And this whole thing of like, this is going to take time. You're going to figure it out. This is why I get on the phone, all the time with people who are like, and I say, how long have you been struggling with this? And they'll say, 25 years or 5 years. That's from the theory of things are going to take a long time. Doesn't take a long time when you have a system that trains you to get there quickly and somebody that knows how to get that to happen for you too. Things don't take a long time. And if you never do any emotional training, just stop believing that anytime anyone says that. You should believe the opposite, right? Somebody says, whatever, it's going to take 6 weeks for your broken arm to heal. Hell to the no. I'll be like, I want to be healed as soon as I can. I'm focusing on that strengthening process. Yeah, don't tell yourself the story that things will take a long time, because that's what will happen. Tell yourself the story that I can be infinitely better in the next moment by just deciding that that's true. My life could be infinitely better by my belief that I am already amazing and powerful, and there's just some areas of development that I am going to do, and I'm going to do them as quickly as possible. I'm going to make that my focus. I'm going to focus on my outcomes. If anybody says to you, this is going to take a long time, I don't care if you have depression, anxiety, bipolar, whatever, relationship issues. The other one is the whole grief situation. I'm going to do a whole training on that. That is brutal conditioning. Like, you're going to take forever to deal with this pain. And that you have to even have pain over it is another one, but I'll touch base on that at another point. That whole process, you're going to be grieving for a long time. What is the benefit of that? Where is the benefit of that? I don't get it. There's no benefit of that. Everything in the world, everything about you, everything that you want can be gained by focusing on developing emotional strength and saying things and doing things that give that to you. Like, you could just do that right now, right? You could focus on anything that's going to give you more strength than things like, this is going to take a long time and it's going to be really, really painful. You should run if you hear someone saying that, and you should stop saying it to yourself, because you're hurting yourself. So hi, Michelle, thanks for saying hi. The whole thing of this is going to take a long time and you've got all this work to do on yourself, not at all true. You've got things to develop. They can be done very quickly. And you got to really focus on that so that you do not buy into the fact that you have a bunch of work to do on yourself. It's not true. In fact, if we had you right now take an inventory of 50 things that are awesome about you, you would see that there's only a few things left to work on. They're probably the ones that none of us ever really got taught, which is why I do what I do, because I wasn't taught these things and I had to develop them. And I thought, why would I have this amazing experience for myself when other people are suffering? And I hate other people suffering. I'm so sensitive. I hate to think of other people suffering. So things don't take a long time. They only take a long time when people give that rationalization. And if you want them to take a long time, then that's cool. That's a sovereign choice of yours. But deciding things don't need to take a long time, and deciding what you want your outcome to be, and then like focus on that outcome, and you can actually get there almost, like, you could probably get there actually in some cases instantly. You can actually feel better instantly by focusing on that outcome. So if somebody says things are going to take a long time, you've got this long, windy road to fix your depression and your anxiety and your grief and your relationship. No. And, and just think this to yourself. What does that belief get me? What does that belief get me? It gets me that. And then change the belief and saying, okay, things can happen very quickly. I can really focus and these things can change very quickly for me. And then ask yourself, what does that belief get you? Right there, you already feel better. Quite honestly, you feel instantly better. So none of this, it's going to take a long time. No. Move on from that. I hate that. And the other part of that I was already mentioning is this whole thing like, it's going to be really painful. Right? It's going to be really painful. I don't get it. You should run away from that too. And if you say that to yourself, or you hear other people and you tell people say that's going to be really painful, stop. Just like, put the buzzer on. No, it's not going to be painful. It doesn't have to be painful. It's only because that's everybody's conditioning, is that things are going to be painful. Not if you don't want it to be. It can be radically, radically different. And that's why gaining emotional strength is so fun. Because then you're like, my clients are like, you know, my mother-in-law just died and my daughter's going in for surgery, and you know, my whatever. They have so many range of things. My kid's freaking out, my husband's freaking out, and I am cool and calm while everybody else is stressing, right? I'm focused and I feel good and I'm working on my outcomes, and that's how it can be. Pain is optional. So no, there is no, it's going to be painful. Any therapist, I hear this stuff too from people. So people say, well, my therapist said that, you know, I've got like so many things to work on. So Angels, so many breakthroughs, right? I used to think this too. I was like, oh yeah, this takes so long. No, not when you condition it differently. The whole thing, like, you know, whether it's the psychiatrist or the medical doctor, or even some amazing, like functional medicine doctors that we collaborate with, and they do incredible work. Unfortunately, everyone in my industry and most people in general, we're conditioned to believe things are going to take, they're going to be painful, right? They're going to be painful. So yeah, no, none of this stuff. It's not true. Okay, things are not going to take a long time. They are not going to be painful. And every day that I learn how to do this quicker for people, this is the most fun of all. Every day I think of how can I elevate. That's why I even share this stuff with all of you, because it makes me that much more trained on it. Every day you can be literally within your own self making tremendous progress just by changing these thought patterns, right? So if somebody is telling you that there's a lot to do, there's so much that has to happen, there's so much work on yourself, you gotta really just gotta think about whether or not that's your person. And if you're gonna work with them in any way, then you're gotta be in charge. You gotta run the show and change their mindset, right? So yeah, I mean, I just thinking of somebody I talked to recently that is like, somebody said, you need all these breakthroughs. You're going to have all of these breakthroughs, and you're going to be in a lot of pain, but then you're going to emerge and you're going to be, you know, feeling so much better, but you're going to basically go through a torture chamber. And this one, I got to tell you, let's just look at the laws of physics, everyone, because again, I am not a rocket scientist person. I am super practical. And because I just feel like being a person was not meant to be that difficult. But I didn't have a handbook, right? So I felt like I had to create one. So somebody's saying, you know, it's going to be all this pain. You're going to go through all this pain, and then you're going to heal. Bullshit. Pain doesn't make healing. The laws of physics are that pain creates more damage, pain creates more stress, and there is no benefit to using the strategy of going into pain to get out of pain. It makes zero sense. And in our program and with our clients, we have proven that this is the case. That there is no need to focus on every horrible thing that happened. That in fact, there's a whole different way of training yourself that can make it so that stuff is actually irrelevant. Because guess what? When you keep conditioning, and I used to do this, man, I was really, really struggling with this at one point in my life. I was always, no matter what, like I could still hear myself come back to like something where my dad didn't pay attention to me, right? Because there was pain there. So somehow I'd be talking about it, and I would even utilize it in my work. But what I realized, because I learn something new every day and I drive myself to do that, is that there was no benefit to saying something that actually, quite honestly, wasn't true. It was an interpretation. So there was nothing that I was going to have what I wanted out of focusing on that. So just keep this in mind, that anybody that you are connected to is trying to support you in some way, whether it's your girlfriend, your mom, or, you know, whoever, if they're taking you through the pain, they're trying to like say, this is the path, we got to go through the pain, run. Run. You do not need pain to be strong and happy. You need the strength, and you need to focus on what is absolutely going to make you happy and give you energy. Because all the people that I talk to that have gone through therapy for years and years, what have they been focusing on? They've been focusing on the pain and the drama and the nightmare, and that isn't helping. So, you know, I want to say this as well, and as I'm discussing things that really, really piss me off, you are all really, really, really smart. And I know that when you're in these experiences, something in you says, that doesn't make sense. You already know it. You knew it when you were a little kid. You knew it along the way. You go, it doesn't make sense, but you're the expert, or you're the adult, or you're pretty confident in what you're saying. And so that feels more powerful. And all that's happening is somebody that's like a little bit more emotionally powerful in what they believe is influencing you. And here's what I'm going to say. If something doesn't sound like it's good to you, or it's going to support you, or that is going to work for you, don't believe it. Right? If something doesn't make sense, you're like, wow, it's going to take a long time, it's going to be really painful. Just think to yourself, what benefit do I get of believing that? And make a choice for yourself. And if it doesn't sound right, and something inside of you all knows, like, I don't like the sound of that. If you don't like the sound of it, it's not right for you. The way you'll know that something is right for you is you're like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. That sounds good. That sounds like, for me, that's what you want to gravitate to. Right? Otherwise, the others are just sort of fueling a bunch of stuff that is just, you know, gosh, people just are just worn out by all this. You're like already worn out by not feeling well, and then you're worn out by a process that's telling you it's going to take a long time, it's going to take forever, you're just going to take some time, you're just going to go through a lot of pain, but eventually there'll be some bright light at the end of the thing. It's like friggin' fairy tale. But it doesn't need to be. So if something doesn't sound good to you, it's not for you. Okay, because you're all smart and you can trust yourself. Don't think, oh, I can't trust myself. That doesn't make sense. Think, what sounds good? What feels good? What feels right? Because you're not going to end up running away with, you know, eating bonbons all day. That's not what I'm talking about. Something resonates with you. Something feels like, that feels good. That feels hopeful. That feels empowering. That's what's for you. Okay, one more piece. This one really pisses me off. This thing like, well, you're getting older, so you're going to be all tired, right? You're going to be worn out. You're going to just be more stressed. You're getting older. So, I mean, this was said to me like 25 years old. You're getting older. Then it was said to me at 30. Well, you know, it's just things people say. Well, you are 30. I was like, shit, it's over already? But I wasn't getting older. I just didn't have the emotional strength that I needed. So I had a lot of wear and tear on me by that time. And I needed to do something different. So this thing about you're getting older, so just like close up shop and just don't expect much from life and you're just going to be tired all the time, run away from that too. Okay, because it's really simple. Now, as we're aging, part of what's happening to us is the wear and tear from not having our emotional strength because we never even knew we needed it. We just knew we didn't feel good, right? The wear and tear from not having the emotional strength that you need, that is what makes you worn out, not what age you are. It's about how you were experiencing life as you're going along. Okay, so this whole thing, I'm just older, this way it's going to be, no. Emotional strength changes all of that. It levels the playing field. It actually reverse ages you. It keeps your body sharp. It will keep you strong, and it will buffer you from all the other things that other people experience as they're aging. So the way you want to think about this, because, this is also part of it, is that we're kind of, as we're having wear and tear in ourselves from all the challenges of just being overwhelmed all the time, right? We're losing a lot of hormones. We're losing a lot of nutrients. We're using up a lot of juice because we're overwhelmed, right? So we're using a lot of energy just to get through the day. So for a lot of my clients over the years, even when they were like 28 years old, we would see and like all their hormones were like out of balance and out of whack, and man or woman, it didn't matter. So people are like losing their life force because of these emotional issues. This is all happening earlier and earlier because of technology. And ultimately, whether it happens to you early, whether it happens to you at all, part of the wear and tear process of being a person when you're not really at your top emotional capacity is that hormonal levels drop. And then even for all of us, no matter how on top of our game we are, those hormonal levels will, at certain point, especially like when you hit like 60s, they will definitely they will drop. But there's a lot you can do to counter that. Now, there's a lot of amazing naturopathic medicine, totally subscribe to that. But over the years, I've had plenty of clients take the top supplements, the top hormones, the top of everything, and still end up not feeling good. And that is because this whole thing about I'm aging, and so this is just what it is not true. It's your emotional strength. It's about needing emotional strength. And the longer we're around on the planet, and the more we've been, working, the more we've been dealing with people, and the more stretch of time there is to go, right? We got another 30 years to go, 40 years, 20 years, hopefully, right? More than that. If the hormonal levels are dropping, then we need to be even more emotionally strong. We need our psychology to influence our chemistry even more. Because right now in the field, what's happening, and I absolutely was there myself, all these hormonal things are incredibly important and helpful. And they are vital things for us. But there's all these people doing all of this, taking all of this, but they're missing the component of the emotional strength that they need. So emotional strength is the only thing that can be a match for losing all those hormones. If you could try to just put those hormones back in, you're going to feel a little bit better. But know that when you're going through certain stages of life, you're going to have so many challenges because of what happens physiologically, that your number one strategy, instead of being like, well, yeah, I'm getting old, the number one strategy to counter all of it is building emotional strength. It is the number one thing that can change your physiology. It changes your chemistry immediately. It is that powerful. Because if you understand the opposite, when you are stressed and overwhelmed, your whole self looks different. Your whole physiology looks different. Everything about you starts breaking down, and you can see it. You see it on yourself, and you feel the wear and tear. You feel like you're imploding. You're feeling like you're falling apart. So when you have really powerful emotional strength, your physiology does the opposite. It's your emotional muscles grow, physiological muscles. Your emotional strength is more powerful than any physiological issue that you have, right? Which is why the anecdote all the time is like, just don't be stressed. Well, that's not an answer. Being emotionally strong is what keeps you from being stressed. Being emotionally strong is what changes your chemistry for the better. And it can produce all of these hormones just from your emotional strength. Your whole hormonal system can be different. And then you get it. The opposite is true, that if you're taking all the medications and all the hormones and your emotional strength isn't there, you're going to feel a little bit better, but you are not going to feel the way that you want to feel. And there is nothing in the world that can change your entire physiology in one direction or the other like your emotional strength. And that's the good news, everyone, because when you get that and you learn that and you integrate that and it gets trained and basically infused into you and automated into you, hi, Shelb, you know, girl, when it gets automated into you, then you carry that forward through life. And it doesn't take all kinds of extra things now. It doesn't, all these other things that you would try to do to counter these struggles that you're having. When you grow emotional strength, now you know how to keep growing more and more and more and more and more. And then it gets really cool and really fun. And like one of our clients, Andrea, was saying today, then you're like a kid in the candy store and you're going, wow, this is kind of cool. Let me try this with myself. Let me try this next thing that makes me feel even better. And it just keeps growing and growing, and you're on this great, amazing ride with yourself. And you just realize you are so freaking interesting that not only are you just not getting older, you're just getting more and more interesting and more cool. And you just go like, oh, wow, I just did this new thing that was really empowering. And it makes me realize there's this other part of it that I didn't even think about. And so our clients are like, they take our methodology and then they just make it their own. And then they've got like so many, amazing things in the way that they apply it. And it just really makes it super fun. And you feel like you've got the keys of the kingdom, that you're no longer on this track of breaking down and getting old. And hell no. As Coach Brittany on our team says, hell no. Or she says, hell yeah, right? Like whatever way we're going. So, all right. So these are the things that piss me off. Hopefully they'll piss you off and you will say hell no to things that don't work for you and don't sound good. And you will not buy into those things. And you will say hell yeah, only to things that empower you, strengthen you, sound good to you, that you want to do, that just bring you life and bring you a vitality when you just think about doing them, when you think about that concept, when you think, wow, this doesn't have to take that much time. Just notice how you feel. Then when you say, this is really going to take a long time. That is not fun. And we got to make life more fun. So everyone, I hope this has served you. I feel better just getting this off my chest and giving it to all of you. And anyway, I hope you all have a great rest of the week. And just power yourselves on up, elevate yourselves to the next level emotionally, and we'll see you soon. Take care.